Okay, I feel tired to the point of delirious today, so that does not necessarily bode well for me picking this TBR. Hey everyone, my name is Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is going to be my March TBR, my Marvelathon TBR. For anyone who doesn't know, Marvelathon is a readathon which is hosted by Lisa from Lisa Does Life. I will link her channel and the original announcement down below. I was a team captain last year in the first round. We're now up to the second round, and this year we're doing things a little bit differently. Rather than us all having our own individual teams, we have joined forces and it is Team OG versus Team New Gen. I know you've all made the right decision by this point and you're all on Team New Gen. Welcome to the winning team. I obviously need to pick my TBR to help us gain as many points as possible. A few things before we start. I have not finished my TBR for last month. I said when I filmed it I probably wasn't going to. It's been a fairly busy February. Well, I say that. I think March is actually going to be busier than February. February just had one very intense week where I did not read anything at all. But March has a lot of like weekends peppered throughout where I am going to be busy, but hopefully I'll be able to read on those weekends. Like a week basically spent in a theatre doing absolutely nothing else was not like helpful with my reading at all. But you know, I am kind of making a comeback in the last few days. Like I finished a book. I'm halfway through another one. I'm reading a third one. There's another one that I definitely will have finished for the end of the month, so potentially I could finish my TBR. But you know what, it doesn't really matter because I did say last month I am not taking a punishment. So basically I'm here to tell you I didn't finish my TBR, but it doesn't really matter. That being said, I probably won't be taking a punishment if I don't finish this month's TBR as well, just because next month's TBR is going to be a little bit different. If you were here with us at the end of March last year for the April TBR, you may remember that things happened a little bit differently because it will be the anniversary of my channel and my TBR game next month. So things are happening, which is slightly terrifying because this is kind of the last month for a little bit where I actually have control over what I'm going to read. But the good thing is that does mean that there will be no punishments if I don't finish this month's TBR, because that doesn't really work with the plans for next month. I'm rambling. I don't know why you need to know this. All you need to know is I'm just going to play the game like normal. So let me explain what like normal is. For anyone who hasn't seen one of these games before, this is TBR M.A.S.H. It's my TBR game, which is inspired by the childhood game of M.A.S.H. Usually you would use it to predict your life. I'm going to use it to dictate my reading life. So each of these cards has a prompt on there. I use a random number generator to work my way across the board, eliminating one card each time until there is only one left in each section, and that is a prompt that I use to pick the book that I'm going to read next month. There are also a couple of things to do with extra prompts I have to pick, which is these lovely ones in the middle. So there are some +1 cards. If one of those comes up, I do have to pick an extra prompt, and also if the same colour comes up twice, I have to pick an extra prompt as well, but we will get to that when we need to. The final thing you need to know is that in the middle here, not that you can see it very well because the light is glaring on it at the minute, but we do have M.A.S.H, which in the game stands for Mansion, Apartment, Shack, House. In my game, Mansion is a big book, Apartment is a small book, Shack is a book you've been putting off, and House is comfortable, so it's a mood read. Pretty sure that is all you need to know. I kind of said that on autopilot, so I hope I actually said everything. But yeah, we're going to try and pick some books from Marvelathon. We're obviously going to try and fit as many prompts as possible, particularly the Team New Gen prompts, because I get more points for those. Basically, I need to pick some sort of newly acquired book, which I believe the rule we're using is one that we have acquired this year, because that gets me bonus points, but I'm only allowed to use that once. So one of the books that I put on here has to be quite new. And the other prompts I'm trying to cover, let me see if I can remember these off the top of my head. So we've got the Scarlet Witch prompt, which is an alternative reality. I know that one because that's my prompt. Becca's prompt was Moon Knight, so that is mental health rep. We've got Danny's prompt for Groot, which is a book with wood or a tree on the cover. We've got Liv's prompt for Fina, which is a book with a battle, and then we have got Meg's prompt for Ant-Man, which is a funny book. So I'm trying to cover as many of those. You can double up and triple up and whatever on prompts, so I'm trying to cover as many of those as possible. We can also use the other team's prompts, so again, let me challenge myself and see if I can remember these. So we have got Lisa, who is Black Widow, and that is a dark book. We've got Jem, who is Hawkeye, which is something to do with family relationships, I believe. I will check all these after. We've got Ash, who is Hulk, and hers is a book with opposites. We've got Alice, who is Ant-Man, and I can't remember that prompt. I knew there was one that was going to stump me. And then Amy is Captain America, and again, I can't remember that prompt. I'm doing so well. I realised I've pulled the graphic up and Lisa's not actually put which prompt matches which character. So I know that the other prompts are a main character goes through transformation and a main character does something unexpected. So I don't know which one is for which for there? Oh wait, I found it. So Iron Man is a book where a character does something unexpected, and Captain America is a character who goes through a transformation. That does make the most sense, actually, thinking about it. But anyway, those are the other prompts I can cover. So I'm going to try and get as many of those as possible. I'm actually going to have this open at the side of me because I want to like have an idea of how many points I'm going to get, because, you know, we need all those points for Team New Gen. But while I have my laptop, let us pick the number that we're going to use to work our way around the board. I use a random number generator and I set the parameters between 5 and 15, and this month the number is 8. So I'll be using the number 8 to work our way around the board, but you guys don't need to see me count, so let's speed this up. So basically we have knocked off most of the prompts already. So every time I count now, I'm only actually going to have to count once because there's only 2 prompts left on each section. There's always a number that works out like that. So this could be a really quick round, apart from the bit where I'm one dropping the prompt on the floor, but also trying to figure out what I'm actually going to fit for these. But anyway, we have our first prompt. I promise I have just picked it up from the floor. And this is trilogy, which works really, really well because I didn't mention there are some mandatory reads that I need to get on here. By some, I mean one mandatory read, because I am co-host of a read-along, which our first series that we are reading is a trilogy, and we are on the last book in the trilogy for March. So I might as well get this on the TBR straight away so I know it's covered. I'm going to go and grab it. So, as I said, I am a co-host of Christopher-Along, which is a read-along which I am hosting with the lovely Lisa and Catherine. For Nevernight, we also have Ash as a guest host, and as I've just said, we have been reading Nevernight, so we are up to the 3rd and final book in the series, which is Dark Dawn. I'm very, very excited to see people's thoughts on this. I haven't actually done my reread of God's Grave yet. That is one of the ones I need to read in the last few days of the month, but I have a plan. I'm going to read it this weekend when I can like sit and concentrate on it, because I need to make notes while I'm listening to the audiobook and reading along with the annotated version, because I'm not actually reading these versions, but they're the easiest ones to grab. For anyone who doesn't know, I will give you a synopsis of the first book. It is about a girl called Mia who witnesses some pretty bad things happening to her family when she's quite a small child, and she decides that she wants to get revenge, and she goes to a school to train to be an assassin. And the first book is basically about her at this assassin school, and things kind of go from there, and I tell you nothing else about this series because I think it's better to be surprised as you're reading it. I actually got a voice note from Lisa the other day about her thoughts on God's Grave, and I'm so excited to see her thoughts on that one, and I'm so excited to see her thoughts on this one. Actually, I'm excited to see her thoughts on the end of God's Grave, and then the upset that she's going to have when she has to wait to read this one. I luckily already know what happens, so I can leave it a little bit longer, but Dark Dawn will definitely be read this month. In terms of prompts for Marvelathon, this is actually quite a good one because it fits a few for Team New Gen. So it is an alternative reality because it's set in a fantasy world. It does feature a battle because it's the last one in a fantasy series. Of course it features a battle. Does it have trees or wood on the cover? I think it does, because there are various different things inside this carving. Actually it does, I've just turned it around. And a ship is made of wood. If Becca can use a word ship from the book Shipwrecked to fit this prompt, I'm going to use an actual picture of a ship that is in the back of Mr. Kindly here. So I'm going to use it for that one. So already we're on quite a lot. Mental health rep. I mean, I feel like there probably is some mental health rep in here. I don't think they specifically name it, but like Mia's gone through some stuff. She's definitely got PTSD. I'm going to see if I can argue that one with Lisa. We'll see how it goes. In fact, actually, I have a very strong argument for this. So I'm going to voice note Lisa after I've finished filming this video. A funny book. It is, for me, a funny book. I quite like J. Kristoff's sense of humour and the sarcasm that comes across in this. So I'm pretty sure that this fits every single prompt for Team New Gen. It's not a newly acquired book. I've had it for a while, so I can't use it for that. But there are some things in the bonus prompts that I can also use it for. And you know what? If we're going to use all the prompts, if we're going to do the OG ones, it is a dark book. It's literally called Dark Dawn. It is a book with opposites because there are two warring sides. So there are people that are fighting, so they are on the opposite side. It does have strong family themes. That is like a big part of this. There is Mia's relationship with Mercurio is definitely family vibes. I mean, the main character does go through a transformation. Mia goes through a lot in these books, and yeah, she does unexpected things. I feel like Dark Dawn could fit every single prompt, and I'm going to argue this with Lisa. I hope she's ready for this voice note. Anyway, let's pick our second prompt. It's going to be like the quickest clip of music that you have ever seen in your life when I was trying to pick that prompt. But we do have our second prompt, and it is going to be a very generic one. It is a hardback. This leaves it open to so many things. Let's see if I can find another one that fits quite as many prompts as the last one did, because I'm really, really impressed with Dark Dawn on there. I have realised though that 2 of the other people that are reading Dark Dawn with me for the read along are on the other team, and one of them is Lisa, so if I send her the voice note telling her it fits every prompt, she's going to say yes, because then she gets all the points as well. That's not fair. Don't like it. Maybe I'll just like sneakily put it in on the last day when she can't notice that it fits all the prompts. Anyway, let me go and pick a book for this one. So the other tricky thing this month is that because I know that I don't have control of my TBR next month, and because I know my friends fairly well, I have an idea of what books I may end up getting next month. So basically, like, spoiler alert for next month's TBR, my friends last year picked specific books that I still play TBR M.A.S.H, so I still don't know which ones I'm going to read, but they pick specific books for me to actually put on here, and whichever ones I don't pick next month will like be rolled through throughout the year. I do still have some left from last year, but I'm going to do a video recapping all the ones from last year where I explain why I haven't read some of them, because basically I've been a little bit stricter with what I'm asking people to pick this year, because I feel like some of the ones last year I learned my lesson weren't necessarily the best ones to put on a TBR for me personally. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. But because I know the people that I've asked to pick prompts this year quite well, I know what books they're likely to put on here, because like I've already had conversations with people about whether or not I've read certain things and whether or not they'll want to put it on there. And like there was a book that I could have picked for this one for a hardback that I recently acquired as well, so it would have been like a good one for the newly acquired thing, for the newly acquired bonus points. But I have a feeling that somebody's going to put it on their thing, and I don't want to like pick it for this and then have them have to like rethink that, because I've literally just asked them this week and I already feel awkward asking people to help me out with things, so I don't want to then make it harder for them. Anyway, rambling, this is going to be a long TBR for no reason whatsoever, but it means that I am trying to pick books that I do not think my friends are going to pick next month, and that makes it a little bit trickier. But then I remember that I got this one just after Christmas. This is a new book in a series that I've been reading. I very much enjoy this series. I also read these really, really quickly, so I thought it'd be a good one to put on this TBR. And also I keep forgetting I've got it because I've put it on the shelf with my other ones in the series, and on that shelf I've got one like facing out because of space, so this is hidden behind it, so I keep forgetting I've got it. So while I remember, I'll put it on my TBR, and it is 9 Liars by Maureen Johnson. So this is the 5th book now in the Truly Devious series. It's about a character called Stevie. I always have to check her name every single time. Yes, Stevie Bell. She goes to this boarding school where it's not like a typical school where you just have like a set curriculum. Basically everyone has a special interest and their curriculum is kind of based around that. Stevie's special interest is in solving like cold cases and crimes. She goes to school originally because there was a murder that happened there many, many years ago to do with the founder of the school, and the first 3 books are her kind of solving that mystery. Since that mystery is tied up, we've gone to more of a standalone story, and they're still sort of like fun YA detective mysteries, like whodunit style ones, but they are more like individual stories, just them with this sort of running thread of Stevie and her friends. And I really like the direction the series is going in, because the only issue I had with the first 3 is that it could have maybe been a duology instead, like it was just a little bit too dragged out. Whereas I did really like the last one, although actually I feel like that one could have been fleshed out just a tiny bit more. But I did say with the last one, if I liked it I would carry on with the series, if I didn't I would just leave it as a trilogy. I liked it enough to buy this one, so I should probably read it. I have no idea what the mystery is in this one, and I'm not going to look into it too much. All I know is that I believe it's actually set in the UK. I believe, yeah, it does say on here, I think the mystery is something around Cambridge University. So I'm intrigued to read this one, and it will get me some points as well on Marvelathon, so let me just quickly go through those. I don't think it'll work for an alternative reality because it's very much set in our world. I don't think it'd work for a book with a battle, although sometimes they do get sort of like chased by people and things, so we'll see what happens. It does say though actually that a battle could be a mental health battle as well, so that could potentially happen because there are a lot of people dealing with a lot of things in this, so I will let you know with that one as I read it. Tree or wood on the cover, there is a staircase which has got a wooden banister on it, so it counts for that one. Mental health threat, I mean, it's about a bunch of teenagers who have had to investigate a lot of murder, so I'd be really surprised if one of them wasn't struggling with something, but again, it will confirm that as I read it. A funny book, yes, I do find Maureen Johnson's writing very funny, so I will count it for that. For the other team, a dark book, it's literally about murder, so yes. A book with opposites, potentially, but we will see. Strong family themes, there is definitely like found family vibes with the friends that are at this school. We've then got main character goes through transformation, possibly not. A main character does something unexpected, usually. So I think it fits a fair few, which is good. I like this. We're doing well. So it's time to pick our third prompt, by the way. So far, no extras, because we've got a red and we've got a purple. We're doing okay. Just trying to count as slowly as possible, and these will be a lot less sped up than usual. Let's see see what our third prompt is. Shouldn't have said I was doing okay, should I? It's a +1. It doesn't matter what the colour is on this +1. I'm not picking 2 extras for it. They were just to make them look pretty. But it does mean I have to pick 2 extras. So the first thing that we do is to pick the one to actually replace this one. Is we just go through the prompts that haven't been picked yet and we draw one out at random, and that is royalty. So pretty simple. We have to have a book with royalty in it, and again, just because that one's red, it doesn't matter because it wasn't part of the regular thing. Stop trying to give me extra things. I'm gonna go and have a think. I'm gonna put a book on this TBR now that I think it's been on one TBR like officially, but it's been in my mind for the first 2 months of the year. So will this be the month that I actually read it? I really hope so, because I do really want to read it. And it definitely does feature royalty. It is The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. So this is the new book in the, what is the series even called? It says a novel of Elfhame. So it's an Elfhame story. It's the, what is the Cruel Prince trilogy called? Is it called the Elf? Is it the Elfhame? Is that what the Cruel Prince trilogy is called? I feel like there's a name for the trilogy. Folk of the Air, that's what it's called, the Folk of the Air trilogy. This is the new series that's following on from that. I think it's a duology. So Folk of the Air was Cruel Prince, Wicked King, Queen of Nothing. This one is Stolen Heir. It is set a while after. I can tell you absolutely nothing about it because it will spoil a lot for the end of that trilogy, because people are left in very particular places, and this is picking up from that years later. And I was about to even say like, oh, it follows this character. I'm like, no, that gives away so much. So just know, basically, I'm not even going to tell you the synopsis of The Cruel Prince, because like, whilst that's important for the setup of this, like, it's not, like, it is a different character that we're following completely. They just happen to be connected to some of the characters from the first one. Like, they are in the first series, but like, this storyline is very, very different as far as I know. I'm excited to read it. It's set in a place called Elfhame. There is fairy royalty within this series. I'm not going to give away anything more than that. This is a very, really rubbish like way of telling you about this book, but I've been wanting to read it. It came out in January. It was on my January TBR. I did not read it. It was unofficially on my February TBR. I did not read it. We're gonna try and actually get it on there in March. Again, 4 points. This is an alternative reality. It's a fairy world. I assume it's gonna have a battle in it. There is trees or wood on the cover, because this little cage thing is made, if you look, it's actually made of wood rather than metal. And also like the bird is on a branch on the side, so I've definitely got trees or wood on there. Mental health rep, quite possibly, because again, the people in the original series went through a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised. Funny book, if it's anything like the original trilogy, yes, because the banter in that one was fantastic. It's one of my favourite things about it, like that and I know that there are 2 characters who have banter in the first one that are still in this series, so any scenes with them I will probably find funny. Going on to the other team's prompts, a dark book, quite possibly. A book with opposites, yes, because there are literally humans and fairies. That is part of the storyline, and they are opposites to each other within this world. Strong family themes, yes, definitely, is a very, very big part of this story. Main character goes for a transformation, I do not know yet. and main character does something unexpected. I do not know yet. But you know, again, this could be one that fits every single prompt. I feel like I'm doing really well, and I shouldn't say that again because look what happened last time. Also, I'm saying I'm doing well. Am I actually going to read these? That is the question. Let's pick our, not last prompt. I know I do need to pick like another one for this. I will do that at the end because I just need to see if I need to pick any other plus ones first. But let's pick our last regular prompt. Again, like counting very, very slowly, just so I don't like have a nothing video, she says, when she's been filming for half an hour. Let's see what this is. I do have to pick another plus one, and this one is fantasy. It's red, which is why I have to pick. I tried to get away with like not picking an extra one with that red, didn't I? And then it was like, nope, you will have another red anyway. Fantasy. I was like, okay, like hopefully I'll get something I can put contemporary on for the next one. Let's have a think. You know what, I'm really liking the fact that I'm going to carry on with some series this month, which is a bit silly considering that like the readathons that were about carrying on with series, like Tori's literally had one this month and I've not taken part in it because I've been busy. But apparently I'm going to do it a month late, and I'm going to carry on with another series that I started reading last year because of the TBR game round actually. And you know what, I read that one really quickly. And I will probably get the audiobook for this because I got the audiobook for the first one and I liked it. And this is The Dream Thieves by Maggie Steva. I know that I have two friends who are going to be very, very happy. I am holding this book up right now. I am looking at you, Meg and Jem. Basically, I want to buy the Fairy Loot edition. Whenever that goes on sale, like, I feel like they released it was ages after it was announced, but it's going to suddenly creep up on me. So I think I want to buy the Fairy Loot set, but I would like to like have read at least half of the series because there's four, right? There's four in this original series. So there's the Raven Boys, Dream Thieves, Blue Lily Lily Blue, and then the Raven King, I believe is the titles. Am I right? Please tell me I'm right. It does not say it anywhere on this, but I think I'm right. Anyway, this is a series that is about a girl called Blue who's always been told that when she kisses her true love he's going to die. And then there are these four boys from like a local prep school, and there's a search for a dead Welsh king, and it's a really, really weird one to explain. And I feel like things happened in the first one, but also like it was quite a quiet, calm book, and it was more just about like the relationships and things between all the characters, and it was quite whimsical and fun, and I just really, really enjoyed it. Like I can't even tell you why I enjoyed it, but I just really, really loved it, and I gave it 5 stars. So hopefully the second one will also have 5 stars. And in the back of it, it says a kiss will be shared. That feels like it's a momentous part of the book. That feels like it's momentous. And yeah, we'll see. I don't actually know what prompts this works for, because in typical me fashion, although I read the first one, like I can't really give you a synopsis as you've just seen. Alternative reality, yes, because there is magic in this world. A book of a battle, possibly, possibly not. I have absolutely no idea. Tree or wood on the cover. This one actually does not. This one does not. It has a bird and a boy. Mental health rep, possibly, I can't remember. A funny book, I'll tell you if I laugh at it. A dark book, I mean there is dark bits on the cover, so I'm going to say yes. A book with opposites, I feel like there are opposites within these characters. Family themes, yes, the Raven Boys definitely do have family themes going on there. Main character going through transformation, quite possibly, and doing something unexpected, quite possibly. So I feel like I'm covering enough. We'll see. And yeah, I'm excited to actually carry on. All of my books so far are continuations of series. Let's see if I can carry this on with my 2 extras that I have to pick. Although if I'm going to carry on series, let's try and get them to be something contemporary, please. Right, so I have 2 extras to pick, and I'm going to pick these on here. With these ones we don't actually like eliminate, we just pick on what we land on, so this is going to be quite easy to figure out. But it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is this one, and this is LGBTQIA+, which I do know what I'm going to pick for this one, because it's one of the ones that I've been wanting to get on my TBR. It is a continuation of the series, but it's something that it's just a really fun, quick, easy read, and I really want to read it because I've been waiting to get my hands on this for a while, and I finally got a copy of it this month, and let me just grab it without knocking the camera off. So this is Paris Island Court is About to Crumble. This is by Alexis Hall, and it is a adult romance which is set on a TV show which is very much Great British Bake Off. The first one in this series was Rosaline Palmer Takes a Cake, and this is and this is basically following the next set of characters, so each one is a different series of this baking show. I have very little information about what this one is about. Obviously from the front I'm going to assume it's a male-male romance. I believe everything that Alexis Hall writes is LGBTQ in some way, and everything I've read from them so far is anyway. And the two characters that I mentioned on the back of here are both male, and to be honest I've seen it stocked in the LGBTQIA plus section in Waterstones, so I'm pretty sure this is going to fit. I mean, there's a whole rainbow cake on the front, so I think we're going to fit this prompt. And yeah, I'm not going to read too much. I don't want to know what the scenario is. I just want to have fun with it because I really enjoyed the first one. I was like really pleasantly surprised by it. And also, like, my favourite things about these books, they have recipes at the back from the actual baking things. And I haven't actually done any of the recipes yet, but I kind of want to. But yeah, I had to hunt down this copy in New York because I needed the US copy to match my US copy of the first one. And now I finally have my hands on it. I'm going to read it ASAP. That one will be a nice one for the beginning of the month where I am away like 2 weekends in a row, so it'll just like be something easy to read, possibly to travel with. I like this. Let's see if we can get one more contemporary without other extra prompt. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is going to be perfect as an adult book. We can definitely get another contemporary on here. We just need an adult contemporary. Let me go and grab one of the many that I have. I realised I didn't actually tell you the prompts for the other one. Alternative reality, no. Book with a battle, I think it can do. They are battling to win the competition. So, you know, I'm going to go with that. Tree or wood on the cover. I mean, that cake stand could definitely be made of wood. Mental health rep, quite possibly. Alexis Hall's books tend to have like something a little bit more to them than just being like a fluffy rom-com. There tends to be like an extra layer to the story, so quite possibly. A funny book, definitely. A dark book, probably not, but again, you never know. So you do tend to have a little bit more to the storylines than you think. A book with opposites, it's a rom-com, so quite possibly. Family themes, who knows. And then the transformation and unexpected, again, don't really know until I read it. For my adult book that I picked another one that I actually should have read a while ago, and that is Buena by Nina LaCour. So this is Nina LaCour's adult debut. I've read some of her YA books before. I've read We Are Okay and Everything Leads to You, and I really like both of them. I've also read one that she wrote with David Levithan actually, but I can't remember what that's called. But I really like those. This was her adult debut. I had an arc of it, did not read it before it came out last year. Got my hands on a physical copy when it was in the half price sale at Waterstones of Christmas, and hoped that it will actually spur me on to finally reading it, and that's kind of what it's doing now. Again, I don't know too much about what it's about, and I don't really want to know. It's probably going to have something to do with romance. It's probably going to break my heart as well, because Nina LaCour books tend to be a little bit sad. And because I don't know too much about it, I can't say for definite what prompts it fits, but I'm going to wager that there is possibly mental health rep in here. It will probably be funny in some parts but sad in others. It could potentially be a dark book because, again, they tend to get a little bit sad. It could be a book with opposites. It could be a book with family themes. A lot of her books that I've read do tend to have a family storyline running through there. And then, as I said with the others, transformation and something unexpected, thing you can't necessarily know before you go into it. But I've just realised it's actually blurred by Casey McQuiston, and that makes me want to read it even more. So this is one that I will finally, hopefully, be getting to. Again, it's one that'd be good to travel because I do have the e-arc, so I can always just read it on my Kindle as well, even though I have not done that until I got the physical copy. Okay, so that is most of the TBR. We now just need to pick M.A.S.H, and oh good god, I hope this is nice to me. Let's see. Okay, I mean, I could have done with that like for the last prompt because it would have worked. It's Shack. It's a book I've been putting off. Actually, I don't even think I have this one physically, but I'm just going to double check. Yeah, so I don't actually have this one physically, but I know my library does have it as an ebook as well, so I will be able to get it. And I'm going to be nice to myself and give myself a graphic novel, basically a very short graphic novel as well. So I'm going to read Saga. I can't remember if I'm up to volume 5 or volume 6. I've got 1 to 4 physically, and I feel like I've read one more after that, but I will double check on my Goodreads where I'm up to. Basically, the reason I've been putting it off is that for a while Saga was on a hiatus. They got to the end of volume 9, which I heard that the ending of volume 9 was like heartbreaking. and then they went on hiatus for ages. They now come back and started releasing again. At first I was waiting because they were just like releasing the weekly issues, so obviously we still had to wait for a bind up. Volume 10 is now out as a bind up, so I feel like comfortable to carry on with it, because I didn't want to get to the end of volume 9 and have no idea when I was going to be able to read anything more from this world again. So I have been putting it off for that reason, but now I feel better about carrying on with it. So I'm probably going to try and read quite a few volumes during this month, because they are good like ones to fit in. Last time we did Marvelathon, I read a lot of Scarlet Witch graphic novels, which obviously I can get bonus points for that, because one of the bonus points is to read books of a Marvel character, and none of these I picked have Marvel characters in them, but I still want to do sort of the graphic novel route of getting and like fitting in as many books as possible with that. But I'm gonna like use it to continue a series, a graphic novel series that I've been really enjoying instead. So I don't have it hold up right now, but Saga volume 5 or 6, I will figure it out. I should say Saga is a sci-fi graphic novel which is set in a world where there's been a war between 2 different planets, and basically it's about the relationship between 2 people, one from one planet, one from the other. They have a kid together, and then that is and that does not go down well with like everyone else involved, so they are constantly being hunted throughout this series, and there's a lot more to it than that, but that's sort of the basic premise, and I very much enjoy it, so hopefully I enjoy the rest of the series as well. Okay, so this plus Saga is my TBR for the month, which I actually like to say that I've got 2 extras on here isn't actually that bad. Like, it's a lot of continuation of series, it's authors that I really like, hence why I'm continuing, and then the ones that aren't continuation of the series, well, I say the one that isn't a continuation of the series, it's just an author that I really like, and it's a new standalone from them. I have audiobooks for I think 3 of these, so that's good as well, and yeah, we'll see. But this is my TBR. I'm actually like cautiously optimistic about it, and also like the fact that I'm like quite competitive and really want Team New Gen to win, I think that's going to spur me on to crack on with the reading. So that is everything. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. Let me know what you're going to be reading in the month of March. Let me know if you are taking part in Marvelathon, what team you are on, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye.